That's his ghost whistle for
great.
Halloween.
Hey, welcome to the Vintners series, October 2012. October 2012. 2012. And I have my co-host here, Ed.
Yeah, mine too.
No last name.
Yeah.
What have you been doing, Ed? You selling anything?
No, not in this weather. Are you kidding? It's been 100 degrees. Wine sales in Southern California. I just got one of those things from one of those websites that I subscribe to. Down 40% in the last month. 40%. Wine sales down over last year. Beer sales up 25. And I certainly been helping that. I have drunk more beer in the last 2 months than I have in the last 2 years.
Speaking of beer, I have some beer neon signs I got from that closing.
Yes, I need beer neon signs.
Can you have a beer neon sign hanging out in your front yard there?
No,
in Torrance?
I can't. You can't have anything hanging around in Torrance. Okay, here we go. Sold to Chile. Now, where does this wine come from?
You're on the wrong thing. This is the Conde de Alicante.
Oh, Conde de Alicante.
Spanish.
Yeah, Spanish. España.
Syrah.
Spanish Syrah.
Actually, this guy that brings this stuff in, he has been bringing us some great wines, and we featured one of these brands already, but he's a new vendor. He's a new importer. He's French, which is interesting because he brings me a lot of things from Spain and from South America, but his value is so good. This is a $22.99. You can get it for $13.99 for more of it, but this is Spanish Syrah, which is kind of fun.
Well, yeah, it doesn't taste anything like Syrah, which is why I like it. I mean, I don't think I've ever in my life tasted a Syrah from Spain. Have you?
Yes.
Other than this one.
You know what? This thing, I remember now. It starts to open up. You can tell it's kind of tight.
It smells Spanish. It doesn't smell like Syrah. It smells like it might be Grenache, Mourvedre's a Tempranillo blend or something like that, or even probably Mourvedre more than anything else.
I remember now. It opens up. It keeps opening up.
Wow. Boy, that is a barbecue wine if there ever was one.
You know, it's interesting. It doesn't have that Syrah component you get from the south of France, right?
No.
It's got its own terroir to it. Mm-hmm. And they also call it terroir.
Yeah, well, they call a lot of things around here. Who knows what he's going to call it next? Well, I'm excited about this wine a lot. I think it's delicious.
I'm getting some. I get a little smoke in it. You're talking
a little bit of smoke and a little bit of tobacco, but it's not like animal hair. It's not like the Animal Farm, which kind of doesn't do it for me. $13.99 a reorder price.
It's got backbone. It's got a huge backbone.
And I'm doing a 93 on this one.
I go 94 because I like it.
Good. Well, I like it too. I mean, 93 isn't exactly chopped liver.
No,
and I love chopped
right,
liver, by the way.
Hey, all right. There you go. All right.
And that falls over the room. Here, put that on there. Put a cork in it, would you please? Thank you.
My shoulder's killing me, man.
Well, you gotta stop doing those strange little positions you're doing.
I'm working on the rings.
The rings.
The
ring cycle.
Rings.
I mean, what are the rings?
Oh, man, this is. What I love about wine. This really is something that the nose sensation.
Yeah.
And how you remember it's such a memorable sensation that as soon as I stuck my nose in this glass, I remembered this wine from the time I tasted it months ago.
Well,
that's so good.
Just like the red, this white Grenache is like taking over the world. I mean, it's just amazing. It's like in 2 years, everybody in the world has discovered white Grenache.
Grenache Blanc.
Or Grenache Blanc. It's actually a separate grape. It is not a white wine made from red Grenache. It is a white Grenache. Just like Sauvignon Blanc is basically white Cabernet Sauvignon. But it's a different grape. It just mutated into white.
I love this.
Kind of like Michael Jackson.
This is so. It's Côte de Roussillon. It's Grenache Blanc and Grenache Gris. So it's got some old world notes to it, but I still get that fresh.
Well, you can't keep Grenache Blanc down. I mean, it's just got great fruit-forward components in it, terrific acidity, and it's a killer bottle of wine.
I'm trying to figure out what to serve this with, like an Alfredo. I don't know.
No, the salad I'm making with crab and avocado.
Oh, the avocado would be great
with a little white truffle mayonnaise.
Oh, wow.
Dead on. $21.99 on the shelf. $12.99. How does he do it? $12.99 in the reorder price. This is a serious wine, and no wood. Absolutely no wood.
See, here's the thing that bothers me about a wine like this. It's so interesting. It's got so many levels and components. But if I give this to the Chardonnay drinkers, I give this to somebody at a party that asks me for a Chardonnay, they're not gonna like it.
I don't know about that. I think that's changing. I mean, I would say you're absolutely right if you said that 5 years ago. But I think I found a lot of people these days that actually have said that don't really know a lot about wine. I'm really tired of the wood. I'm tired of oak.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
tired
those
of tasting
oaky
all the
shards.
vanilla stuff. So, I mean, even the ones that aren't real oaky, you know, I mean, we haven't had a real oaky Chardonnay here in years, right?
No, we didn't.
But now, even the ones that aren't that oaky, people are still going, I want to taste what the wine tastes like, not what all the other stuff tastes like.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I'm having an event at the house on the 22nd. I know I'm going to get Chardonnay drinkers. They're going to ask me for something. I'm going to pour that because I want people to feel and sense because that's got a huge departure from sort of the mainstream white wine thing. Right?
Well, the only thing is you got to have food with that. That's not a wine
yeah.
you just sit around and sip because the acidity is pretty.
Like chili peanuts or something.
Not like chili peanut. And where does this wine come from? Speaking of chili,
Soul to Chili.
Where do you think that would come
Now,
from?
we know we've featured this brand before, but they keep bringing me stuff and they keep showing me such great wines. And this one, Carmenere is a great grape. It does a lot of different things. I tasted one yesterday. It was really smooth and soft. This one's a little more aggressive. It's got some herbaceousness to it. It's got some smoke to it. It's good. I love the green in the nose.
These wines are so reminiscent of Bordeaux. Last night I had dinner with my daughter at a really cool restaurant. We had an 89 Rosan Segla, and it was just so Bordeaux-like, so Margaux-ish.
Great vintage, too.
Great, actually, I was never crazy about that vintage. This wine was out of this world. I mean, it was on another planet.
Well, it was the second of the three great vintages of...
The 80s?
Yeah, 88, 89, 90.
No, 85, 89, and 90. And 90 wasn't part of the 80s. Maybe in your world, maybe you had so many drugs back then you couldn't tell them apart. But the fact is that it was a very ripe vintage. I remember that, I was looking at buying some of the 88s on futures, and the 89 vintage started in it was one of the earliest
They loved
vintages
that
in
vintage,
history, and they went nuts. But a lot of the wines are starting to fall apart because they're too hot. It was a really warm vintage.
I like this wine.
This wine has Bordeaux quality,
it does. It does.
Earth and licorice and leather, and
Still young,
I'm doing
too.
a 95 on this
Still
myself.
young.
Oh, it's very young.
2010.
$11.99.
Have some more.
$11.99 on the reorder. That's incredible. Where's your mother? If your mother saw that, she would be right here right
Hey,
now.
did you see
Take
the
that
write
out
up?
of your
You didn't
mouth.
see the write up on my dad, huh?
No, I didn't.
You're not Trojan.
No.
You got a great article written about him in the Trojan Family magazine.
All right, once again, I'm doing a 95 on this.
He says about himself. He goes, "I became a knowledgeable wine critic." That's what he calls himself. And you're more critical than he is.
I resemble that remark.
Exactly.
Okay, now last but not least, this Hunter Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough. Marlborough. Really classic New Zealand style Blanc.
It's just, it never ceases to amaze me because there is sort of this sort of straight and narrow version of a Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough, which is grassy, grapefruits, all this stuff. And then you get these little departures, and this one is not so dramatic, That's what I liked about it.
Well, yeah, it's not real grassy. I mean, it's a little grassy, which I think is fine because it's fresh grass, It's not old, wet hay, which is not too much fun. But God, stinging acidity, my goodness. Boy, this'll kind of curl
Clams.
your tongue.
Clams, mussels.
Clams on a half shell or oysters on a half shell, fresh Kumamoto.
Boy, the nose is just, you just want to smell it and smell it because it's so bright.
Delicious. It's got a little bit of the grapefruit, a little gooseberry, but a little white peach. It's not, but everything's held in check. It's really nicely balanced. And $16.99 is the shelf price. $11.99 is the reorder price.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah,
Do we rate this?
I'm doing this a 95. We gave.
I'm going 95 on that too. But
I gave that a 94.
Oh, yeah, 94,
Yeah. What did you give it?
same thing.
Oh, you took my number again.
Okay, I'll transpose it. It's a 49. Okay.
His math.
When are we going to the 1,000-point scale?
Well, we can go right now if you'd like.
This is really good.
I mean, and that is it for today, boys and girls. The Vintners series of 2012, a full 6 months after the world ended. You know, I mean,
We're still
the world
here.
ended 6 months ago, and we're still
Well,
here.
we're stuck in this studio. We can't get out.
Kind of like Keith Richards, you
We
know.
can't get out of the
You
room.
know?
It's all blocked in.
He actually passed away 20 years ago, but nobody claimed the body, so he's still there, you know.
Cheers.